First of all, I want to welcome everyone to Infinite Love this evening. We have a pretty exciting event that we've been looking forward to bringing to you, and glad that you all took the opportunity to come here and see this very wonderful speaker. How many of you have been to Infinite Love before? Good amount. All right. So I guess the better question might have been, who's new? Right? I think if you've been here before, you know me, so, and I know your faces. Welcome to all of you. So, very, very excited that we see a lot of new faces here. So I've actually been here with Infinite Love for, I don't know, roughly 8 months now. And it's an amazing organization. And I promise I'm not paid to say that either. So, in fact, we are a completely volunteer-run organization that was founded just over 2 years ago by these ladies over here. Say hello. And it was founded on the philosophy of love, quite simply. So these ladies, we're going through a bit of a dark time, in a sense, dealing with things like a death of a very special family member who was lost to cancer, a son who was injured in an accident, who is now paralyzed from the waist down, and just going through divorce, and some of the things that all of us have been challenged with, and things that have caused us to lose hope. So, and they decided that the best way to deal with that, actually, was to give back, right? And work through healing that really touched others. So Infinite Love was founded on 4 core values, which are community, compassion, service, and spirituality. And that's frankly what we live by. And the thing that I particularly liked about Infinite Love is that we really walk the talk. So we twice a week, actually, on Tuesdays and Fridays, serve warm home-cooked meals to the homeless in McAllen at roughly 150 on average a week and growing. And as you know, there's quite a bit of poverty in the valley. In fact, I think roughly half of the children in the area live at or below the poverty level. And unfortunately, there are a lot of homeless. In addition to those activities, we also serve meals to cancer patients at the Texas Oncology Center. And in addition to really just serving meals, just kind of give them some company and help warm their soul and help them feel comfortable as they're going through treatment. In addition to that, we also have regular meditations right here in this building every Wednesday, which we invite all of you. So, and that's what drew me here, because I love meditation. It was quite an experience to really connect with some like-minded people who were really open to whoever you are, right? No matter what walk of life you come from, no matter what your beliefs are, everyone is welcome here and everyone's family. And I promise you that when you come to the meditation, you will feel like family. We are all family, and we would love it if you choose to be a part of ours, and we very much welcome you, okay? Oh, yeah, I would hope to mention what time that is. All right, so our meditations on Wednesdays actually start at 7 p.m., but, if you're running a little bit late, it's okay. We actually, well, not too late, but we have actually meals that we serve you here, so you don't have to rush home and cook dinner and try to get here on time. You can come in, munch on some awesome Indian food, which is actually pretty delicious. And then we oftentimes share a video with some sort of thought-provoking and inspiring ideas to kind of shift our mindset and also give us something to think about as we shift into meditation together. And then starting roughly 8 p.m., we'll sit in the back part of the room here and go through about a half-hour meditation together, partly with music and partly in silence. And it's quite an experience. We have new people that come through every week, and many are really, really thrilled about the experience. And if you're a first-timer and you've never meditated before, it's okay. We encourage you to come by. All right, and I haven't even introduced myself yet. Everybody's like, who's this guy? My name is Dennis Stewart, and I've been in the Valley for 9 years now. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm absolutely thrilled to be part of the Infinite Love family. So, as are many people in this room, actually. And they'll probably tell you a little bit more as you engage in conversation throughout the day, but we're all good people here, all right?
You forgot to mention the dessert afterwards.
Oh, sure, that's important, right? So after you meditate and you've gone through and been sitting there for a while and your tummy starts growling, we do actually serve dessert as well. All right, so a couple of important things. We are actually, we are blessed to have a couple of volunteers from H.O.P.E in their community service day coming up in a week and a half to actually help in some of the activities, and we're going to be doing some meditation awareness activities. So in a very practical sense, as many of you may or may not know, the practice of meditation has many practical benefits. You know, just from clarity of mind and peace and focus to general health, lowering your stress and anxiety. We all deal with a little bit of anxiety at times, including if you're speaking in front of like 100 people, right? So meditation really helps in those circumstances. It just helps you get ready for that, for your workday. And you don't have to do it for half an hour. You don't have to sit with a guru or anything fancy like that. Just find a couple of 5 to 10 minutes. So just to sit in silence and in stillness. Hence why we're calling a new project that we're working on the stillness movement. I know it's a bit of an oxymoron, but what it's frankly about is that we really want to encourage people and help create awareness about the general practical benefits of meditation. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a very simple practice. Okay, and we'll have many ongoing activities to help you understand a little bit more about how to get more out of meditation coming in the very near future. So stay posted and stay connected with us. Those of you who registered or who walked in the door probably gave us your email addresses and will likely be on our email distribution list, to which we'll share with you a lot of our ongoing activities, whether you wish to volunteer or be participating in the meditation awareness and the stillness movement, or just want to come to our weekly meditations, whichever you choose. That we'll keep you posted, and also visit our website, loveisinfinite.org, and you can also connect with us on Facebook, and we'll post future events such as this on Facebook as well. So we've last year started the Sunday Awakening series, of which this is a part every 2 months, but this year it's turned into every month, so it's kept us a little busy. But we have a lot of great speakers that are really excited to come down and share with the Valley, and we're glad to help host it. So, sorry, excuse me. So we have an exciting event tonight, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in just a moment. So in addition to email and Facebook, we are also on Twitter, on Instagram if you so choose, and and we're also in the weekly meditations where you can come connect with us and learn more as well. So some of us are not so ingrained in the digital age. Alrighty. One other thing I do want to mention, this particular event that you're about to see could not happen without the help of all of our wonderful volunteers that worked ever so hard to put this all together. So it may look smooth on the surface, but there was a lot of chaos underneath coming to put this together. But it's part of what we love, and we really like to bring to the Valley things that really help foster inner growth and self-growth and inspire people and help you get hope in your life. Right? So a couple of quick housekeeping items. Of course, you know the restroom facilities are over here. The event that we're going to have today is going to stretch roughly, say, an hour and 15 minutes of speaking, and shortly thereafter, we'll actually have a question and answer session, and then we'll break for a few minutes and have a book signing and a meet and greet afterwards with Sue. All right? Sound good? Everyone ready?
Yeah.
I promise you are in a treat for tonight. So, a couple other housekeeping items. Please, hopefully you've completed all of your check-ins and Facebook posts and tweets. At this time, I do ask that you at least turn off your ringers. Encourage you to actually turn off your phone and just set everything aside. Just for the next hour, be completely present in the moment. So, here's what we're going to do right now. If I could, ask everyone to just, for 1 minute, just be silent and be still and be present in the moment. I'll tell you real quick, the trick is to not think about what you're not going to think about. It's just to let everything go and just be here now. All right, just close your eyes, relax, and just be present in the moment. That's all it takes. About a minute. Okay. All right. You may someday find there's an interesting treasure when many people simultaneously shift into a centered presence, state of awareness. All right, so now it's time for the event, all right? Again, I have the pleasure to introduce you a very, very exciting speaker. And I don't say that softly, all right? So, as she actually sits right here on the sign, right? So, Sue S. Thompson is someone that roughly 15 years ago was diagnosed with a terminal form of bone marrow cancer. And as some of you may know, that's a difficult one to treat. And as far as any doctors or any medical journals were concerned, it was a done deal, right? It's basically you start, sign away your rights, and get ready, say goodbye, it's gone, right? This is it. But she decided that through her faith, determination, and just her zeal for life, that she was not going to give up, and she was going to remain positive and optimistic and press through, and she had faith that she was going to overcome it. And of course, as you know, it's not a ghost. She walks today. All right. And Sue's really is a treasure. She shortly after she overcame cancer started a company called Zeal for Life. Well, actually, right after that, she started sending these Monday morning messages by email. They were just relatively short quips that just help you start your week off right, in a good frame of mind, something positive, how to deal with life and as the book title states, hope, health, optimism, passion, and enthusiasm, and really kind of focused on those elements to help create a great state of mind in your life. And Hope Talks actually includes roughly 100 of these Monday morning messages, some of the favorites and the most inspiring pieces. So we strongly encourage you to check it out. It will actually be available up front, and you can get it signed by Sue once we reach the end of the event. All right? So we will have a meet and greet and a book signing in the corner. Check it out. I promise you that you will absolutely love it. It's a nice little treasure. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage Miss Sue S. Thompson.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me in the back okay? Great, great, thank you. Well, I want to thank thank you, Dennis. My goodness, you know more about me than I do. That was a great introduction, so you've done your homework. Thank you very much. And to these gorgeous ladies at Infinite Love, wow. So, where do I start? I'm going to begin by asking you a question. The question is this. Do you truly believe that you can have or do anything if you want it bad enough? Perfect answer. I love that. We can. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Good, because I truly am standing before you as a medical miracle. I want to share a story with you, a true story, about a guy named Dave. I went to church on Sunday and I was hesitant about going. You know how we do? Like, oh, do I really want to go? Yes. And God went, you're going. I'm like, okay, fine. So I got the list and I went. And lo and behold, the minister began the service by sharing a story about a guy named Dave. Remember, true story now, so follow me as it's true. Dave is a daredevil, a thrill seeker. He loves to live on the edge. Anything that kind of makes that adrenaline go, Dave wants to do it. But there was one thing on his bucket list that he had not done, and that was skydive. He arranges it all with his buddies, gets the big event planned, he goes. But sadly, his parachute did not open. And Dave hit ground, severed every vertebrae, broke his back. Everyone, doctors, everyone were surprised that he even lived. But he was paralyzed from the waist down. He was told, you will never walk. Ever, ever walk. And Dave went, yeah, whatever. So Dave gets in the hospital. They said, you're going to be in here 3 or 4 months. His first physical therapist comes in, and her name is Hilda. Can you imagine Hilda? I've been to physical therapists. They are not fun. If any of you are one, I apologize because they hurt. At least they hurt me. So Hilda, of course they become good friends, and Dave starts sharing with Hilda. Hilda, the doctors say I'm not going to walk, but that's baloney because I'm walking out of here in 3 or 4 months when I get out of here. Hilda kind of thinks about it. She starts working on him. She goes, Dave, wiggle your toes. He's like, what? She says, wiggle your toes. Dave, wiggle your toes. Can you picture Hilda doing this, right? So she would work on him a little longer. Dave, wiggle your toes. She'd work a little longer. Dave, wiggle your toes. When Hilda left, that's all Dave laid there thinking, Dave, wiggle my toes, wiggle my toes, wiggle my toes. Dave walked out of that hospital in 3 months. 3 months. He walked out. The power of our mind is truthfully the most powerful gift God gives us. I'm standing before you because of the power, well, God first always, but the power of my mind. Because when I was diagnosed, I wasn't going to accept that. I'm going to get to that in a second. But what I would like to do is ask you to just lean back, and I'm going to do one of the meditations as Dennis shared with you, and just take some deep breaths. A couple of 3 times, relax. He already has you relax, so that was cool. That was a preface, that was a good deal. And just lean back and close your eyes for me. And just follow along with what I'm going to share with you. Envision that you are down on a track in a huge stadium, like at the Olympics. There are no contestants but you, basking under a brilliant blue sky and the sun's warmth. Your body is fit and it's healthy. You feel the adrenaline pumping through your body. You feel awake and alive. Now look at the track in front of you. Ahead of you are hurdles, all evenly spaced out around the track. The hurdles are all the obstacles you have jumped in your life until this moment. Maybe it's overcoming a trying childhood, ending a relationship, stopping an addiction, losing a loved one. Maybe you're a single parent, the single breadwinner, and your income is not what it's been in the past. Whatever your hurdles, just see them all out in front of you. Then look into the stands and see all the people, thousands of people, cheering for you. You feel their energy and their love. You smile as the gun goes off. One by one, you jump each hurdle. With each one you jump, you run faster and stronger, and the crowd cheers louder and louder. It's effortless to move past them, isn't it? Notice how good it feels to surpass them. Doesn't it feel good to realize they're just little blips along your path? They are not who you are. You are bigger than any hurdle. You are stronger than any hurdle. Now you round the final corner to the straightaway. You glide past the finish line as the crowd chants your name. You stand there smiling, laughing, and joyful. For you realize as you look back over all those hurdles, you can do anything. You have an infinite source of power, love, and strength inside of you. And when you allow that to fuel you, you can jump any hurdle that life presents. When you're ready, open your eyes. I was born a fiery, feisty redhead. This is no color. This is my true hair. Every once in a while I see a silver, but it comes out quick. But I was born with that. And I also was born with the temper and determination and perseverance and persistence to match. Just ask anybody that knows me and they will vouch for that. But I've been told my whole life, you're so positive. You have such a positive outlook on it. Your glass is always half full. Well, truthfully, it's really always flowing over. But does that come naturally? No. I've worked to do that. I mean, I've really been very conscious about that. Because I know that those thoughts and words really control and create our reality. But in addition, I mean, even when life's going great, every day we wake, there's challenges, there's those hurdles, and there's surprises, right? Some are big, some are small, some are loud, some are quiet, but we get them every day of our life. That is what life is made up of, right? My life was great. Healthy, never been sick, had a great job, single, having fun, until spring of 1999. And I began to experience pain. I'd never really had pain before in my life. I was 54 years old. No, actually I was 53, because I was 54, okay, 53. And I was like, what is wrong? So I just ignored it, like sort of like, what's her name in Gone with the Wind? Scarlett O'Hara. I'm going to deal with that tomorrow. I'm not dealing with that today, right? It'll go away. Well, by the time August came, my son got married, my younger son got married in June. And by the time August came, literally on a pain level of 1 to 10, I was about a 40 or 50. It was that bad. From my arm, my back, my shoulder, it was excruciating. I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit, I couldn't do anything except cry in pain. So I thought, maybe it's time to go see a doctor. So I went to an orthopedic doctor. I'm just thinking something's broken, right? And it'll get fixed. He'll cast it or whatever they do, and it'll be okay. I go to the doctor. He does the x-rays. He's out. He comes back in. Now, I had a significant other at the time, and I'm sitting here. My significant other's kind of in a triangle, and the doctor was sitting right there where I couldn't really see too good out of my peripheral hair. I was just looking at the doctor. And he walks in, and he said, Miss Thompson, I'm 99% sure you have multiple myeloma. I said, that's a big name for a broken arm. What is that? He stood up and he said, no ma'am, that's bone marrow cancer. Hello? I said, whoa. And I don't know if many of you know who Dr. Wayne Dyer is. I know these ladies do. And someone told me this, so I don't know which book it is. Y'all may know this better than me. In one of his books, he says that the minute a human being is faced with death, whether you see a car coming at you, you get this diagnosis, whatever it is, that in that instant, you know if you're going to live or die. Now, I said that my son got married in June. My older son at this time, this was August 31st, 1999, was in Cancun getting engaged. This was way before the bucket list, but number one on my bucket list was to be a grandmother. That's all I wanted to do. The year before, now my boys were pretty, in my opinion, too old. They were like, they should have already been married. But they didn't have wives or even suspects of wives. So I said, okay, guys, forget the wives. Just go get me a baby. I said, Mother, that's not what you've taught us. I said, I don't care. I just want to be a grandmother. So that was extremely important to me. So when this glass bubble goes around me, when he says this to me, I scoot up on the edge of my chair and I looked at him and I said, Dr. Crockett, let me tell you something. I don't know what that is, but I'm not dying. I'm not going down with it. I'm not a grandmother yet. So what the H.E.P.E. are we doing next? Because this ain't going to work for me. He smiled, this big smile. He walked up to me, he put out his hand. He goes, oh, honey, you're going to be just fine. I'm like, I know I am. What do we do? Well, I look over at Bill, and he's like, oh, boy. I said, let's go. And he's like, oh, just give me a minute. I said, we don't have a minute. Let's go. And he said, I've never seen anybody be so strong at that exact moment. Boy, I was like, let's just get going here. So he takes me upstairs to the oncologist. I have to do this perfectly. This guy's sitting behind his desk, never looks up. Dr. Crockett lays the file in front of him. He never looks at me now. He looks at the file, Miss Thompson, well, Dr. Crockett left, so now it's me and Bill and Dr. Cagle. He says, Miss Thompson, I got good news and bad news. Which do you want first? And I'm thinking, didn't I just get pretty bad news here? I don't know. How much worse can it get, right? I said, it doesn't matter, just give it to me. So he says, well, the good news is it's treatable and controllable. The bad news is it's incurable. I said, no, I'll be cured. No, you won't. Yes, I will. No, you won't. So we bantered. I looked at Bill. I said, this isn't my doctor anymore. He is too negative for me. I'm getting over this because I'm going to be a grandmother. Right? So at any rate, I fired him. I said, this is not working. Now, here's what's interesting. As I said before, I've never been sick in my life. I've never had pain. The only pain I'd ever had is I had too much to drink and I had an asthma or something. But I was never sick. Never sick. But at that exact moment, when I walked through that door and knew he would not be my doctor anymore, I took ownership of my life. At that exact second, something happened. I knew I was not going to do chemotherapy. Don't really know why. I just knew I wasn't going to. I knew I was going to heal myself naturally. Now, I truly like to think that God said, your body is built to heal itself naturally. You can do this. Okay. At that point, too, I have to admit, I used to pray. I don't pray anymore now. I just talk. I'm like, dude, we got to do something about this. This ain't working. So now we just have conversations. I know if y'all read that book, Conversations with God, that's kind of, it's just like we just talk. At any rate, at that moment, of course, I go home. I call my sister. We lived in a town where there were two ladies that had an herb shop. And they'd had this herb shop about 15 years. They had been RNs for 28 before that. They knew both worlds. They were who we called. My sister called and said, Janine, you and Gladys, get over here. Sue's just been diagnosed, blah, blah, blah. She goes, we'll be over there in an hour. They walk into my house with a basket as big as a dining table of herbs and supplements and juices. I'm just like, what is all of that? I'm not taking it. She goes, no, we're going to muscle test. You're going to what? It's been such a learning curve for me, this whole thing. So they muscle test me for like an hour. I'm just like, okay, which ones? And I ended up, and I was taking close to 100 a day to get that immune system built. But what I did is whatever those ladies told me, I did it. Eat this, drink this. Don't eat this, don't drink this. When you go to bed, do this. I did it. I had a horrific experience at MD Anderson when I went to another oncologist, so I really knew that wasn't going to work. And I did every natural modality there was on the face of this earth. I always put God first, so when I don't say that, just know that it was Him first in our conversations. But visualization, manifestation, change my diet, huge. Nutrition's huge, huge, huge in our health. I did acupuncture. I did massages. Somebody said, you need to laugh because that's the door to the soul. Laugh? Okay, yeah, right. I'm just trying to, and my arm was in a sling. I was humped over. I could not stand up. I was a weak, weak person. I didn't think so at the time, but now I can look back and say that. At the time, I did not think I was weak. But there were so many things that I learned on this journey that I had no idea about. So I got this movie, Dr. Dolittle. Have y'all watched that with Eddie Murphy? Yeah. Where the dog stuff? I look at it now and it's pretty stupid. But I'm telling you, when I would get kind of starting my little pity party, because I made a decision, okay, so you can go into your little victim pity party, but it can only last 1 minute. That's all you're allowed. And then you got to come out. Okay, so I would sit and I would watch Dr. Dolittle and laugh until I would cry. Now I look at it, it's not so funny. But it worked. It worked. I also learned that the power of our mind is the most powerful gift God gives us. You guys will hear me say that a lot. You know that saying? What the mind can conceive, the body will achieve. Everyone should type that out and put it where you read that every day. Because that is the truest statement I will ever say to you. is what the mind can conceive, the body will achieve. So as time goes on, fast forward, in 2000, this was in 99, in 2000, I was team leader at a Keller Williams Realty office in Conroe, Texas, north of Houston. So of course the agents were all like, you know, this is your lesson to learn how to let us take care of you. Boy, that was a tough one. But you know, we all go through life's lessons to learn something that we don't already know. And it creates our character to be bigger and better than we were before. Hard to conceive that when you're going through it. Now, trust me, doesn't make sense as good as once you get past that, then it's like, yeah, that's true. That's exactly right. So, in 2000, the agents, my friends, my family are like, you need to go do talks. You need to write a book. I need to write a book? I'm not going to write a book. Are you kidding me? So, my sister and I, we lost our parents years ago, so it's just the two of us. My panties stay in a wad, hers never get in a wad. She's like flatlined, calm, cool, collected all the time. I have to make myself try to get there. They wanted me to sit down and meditate. Yeah, okay. That's a challenge for this girl. Remember, I'm the feisty fairy. I know I came out running and I'm going to go down running. So that's because none of us are going to get out of here alive. So we have to do what we can do while we're doing it, right? But anyway, I'm driving home one day and they had really been harping. You need to do talks. You need to write a book. And I called my sister. I said, Gina, what am I going to do? They're driving me crazy. I love them, but they're driving me crazy, wanting me to do all this stuff. I just want to live, right? Well, when God's ready for you to do that, He'll tell you. Okay. So I hang up, and I said, okay, God, now listen. You got to get them to back off. You just got to help me here and get them to back off. And I said, or if you want me to do this, then I seriously need a big sign. Now, guys, lesson learned here. Never, ever ask for anything unless you really, really want it. And be very specific. Trust me on that one. So I said, okay, God, just give me a big sign. Now, I'm driving in Conroe. As I'm crossing the lake, businesses are on this side, the lake's on this side. Most royal blue sky you've ever seen in your life with these huge, gigantic, beautiful shaving cream clouds. Like you just wanted to go jump in them, you know? So I'm driving along and I'm just talking to God and I'm thinking and praying that they'll go away and not bug me anymore about it and just let me get healed. And all of a sudden, out of one of these, right here in this view, huge shaving cream cloud came H.O.P.E. We couldn't get it all on the cover of a book. I had to have a big table book to get what I wanted because it didn't get the cloud, and it was in a big rainbow arc. But it said H.O.P. It said hope, but it had periods. Now, I'm not on any drugs. I'm on vitamins or supplements, but I truly think I'm losing it. You're hallucinating. This has made you go crazy. The cancer's not going to kill you. You're going to go crazy, right? So I called my sister. I pulled the car over because I was about to have a wreck. And I said, oh my gosh, you want to... She just listened. And I'm going like spewing like a crazy person. And she goes, well, I guess that's your sign from God. You do not understand what I'm telling you. These were in the cloud and I'm seeing this, blah, blah, blah. I said, and it's got periods. Why has hope got periods? Well, I'm just like, that was probably the maddest I've ever been at her, truthfully. She says, when God is ready for you to know what those periods are, He's going to tell you. Okay. So then I hang up and I'm still shaking, you know, and I get back in my car, and unfortunately I wasn't too far from home, and I get home and say, God, what are the periods for? No answer. Nothing. Silence. Okay. So I go walk in the back door, and whatever I set my purse on, I don't know what it was. When the minute I set my purse down and it touched whatever it was, God said, health, optimism, passion, enthusiasm. Okay. That was the first time, well, actually that was the second time that I actually heard his voice. The first was when he said, are we going to sink? Did I say that part already? That sink or swim?
No.
Oh, man. About the glass bubble? Yeah, well, I did. When the glass bubble went around, before I did share what I said to the doctor, but God spoke to me, and that was the first time I'd really heard him speak to me in a voice. And he said, well, Sue, what are we going to do, sink or swim? That's when I scooted up and said what I said to Dr. Crockett. That's important, so I shouldn't have left that out. I apologize. So this was the second time when he said health, optimism, passion, enthusiasm. By the way, that's your talk and that's your book. Now go make a difference. This was in 2000. This is 2014. Some of us don't learn so fast. So 2001, I don't remember what I did yesterday, but I remember it was a Monday morning and it was 7 o'clock in 2001. I'm at my computer at my house and I forward this cool, inspirational, motivational email to somebody. Don't know who that was. Hit send, the little box comes up. You don't have a subject. I lean back, I said, God, they're in a subject. They're in a subject. What do I do for a subject? What do I do? He said, good Monday morning. Oh, that's cool. So I typed good Monday morning and off it went. About 2 minutes he goes, and by the way, you're going to do one of these every Monday morning. What? I'm not a writer. I can't do these every Monday morning. But in spite of that, every Monday morning since 2001, God and I have done a good Monday morning. That's what this book is about. It's 96 of my many, many, many good Monday mornings. So we should never say never, because we will. I promise. We will never, we'll always do what we say we won't do. So fast forward now, it's 2001, this happens. I'm really on my journey to get well. I did so many modalities and so many affirmations. And Louise Hay, do you guys know who Louise Hay is? Yes. Have you heard of Dr. Bernie Siegel? Yes. Dr. Bernie Siegel is a heart surgeon who kind of turned naturopathic. Dr. Bernie Siegel believes that the words we speak, the thoughts that are living in our mind will create our reality. And Dr. Bernie Siegel is all about manifestation. Louise Hay is all about affirmations. So as I shared with you, here I am, arm in a sling. I had no bone in this arm. It was all gone, deteriorated, my right humerus. And the way we found the cancer was, I had a little bitty nub here that got a hairline fracture by the grace of God. Because multiple myeloma is kind of one of those secret things. I never read about it. I told everybody, I don't even want to know what it is. You tell me it's bone marrow cancer, that's cool. That's all I want to know. Nothing else. Because it's going to be cured. Well, it really says in 3 to 5 years I should have been dead, but that didn't work out. So, I'm going to be a grandmother, remember? And actually, 6 weeks into this little journey, my younger son, that got married in June, he goes, Mother, God's really funny. I'm like, yeah, he is one. We're pregnant. Sweet. So then what did I do? Go, okay, God, now I'm going to be a grandmother. No, we got to be a great-grandmother. I'm going to be a great-grandmother. So anyway, I gleaned an affirmation from Louise Hay. Kind of took a lot of her words and just sort of created my own. And it was, I am whole in body, mind, and spirit. All is well in my world. Now, Louise Hay says, when you get your affirmation, you go to the mirror. And every time you pass a mirror, you look yourself in the eye and you say it, right? So here I am. I was a pretty poor, pitiful little pearl person. And I go to the mirror and I go, I am whole in body, mind, and spirit. And this little voice over here, which is not a nice person, says, look at you, you're a pitiful mess. Go sit back there. I go sit back there. And that is so not Sue Thompson now. I'm going to tell y'all that is way not Sue Thompson. But like I said, on a pain level of 1 to 10, 10 being bad, I was about a 40 or 50. It was pretty, and I refused to take pain medication because it made me sick in my stomach. And I wasn't going to take any pills. That just wasn't going to work for me. So anyway, I did this, and I had not stood up straight for about 2.5 months. And every time I do it, I'd go. And the minute I'd go sit down, I'd get mad. Like, I am not a pitiful person. I am holding. I better go back. So I go back. And I'd stand in front of that mirror. About 2 to 2.5 months later, something clicked. I stood straight up. Now, Bill, my significant other, was in the other room in the living room. I stood straight up and I started screaming at the top of my lungs. I am holding body, mind, and spirit, and all is well in my world, and you go away because I don't need you anymore. And at that exact second, my healing began. In 2 years, the cancer was gone. Now, the doctor wouldn't say that because that's not what the medical journal said, and he couldn't say that. I kept going, you can say it. He goes, no, I can't. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I did end up doing mega doses of steroids because they wanted me to do stem cell transplant. Well, I said, what is that? First thing out of her mouth is, well, we put you in isolation. Not going to work for me. You might as well shoot me now. If I can't talk or talk on my phone or see somebody, I'm done. That is not going to work. And they take the stems out, they do this, and they give you all this chemo. I said, I just don't think I can do that. You know, it's just not going to work for me. And again, I don't know why I was so adamant about that because I hadn't researched anything. Didn't really know that much. Just something in me said, that's not for you. So I was like, okay. So the doctor said, we've got to do something. So let's do steroids. Okay. So of course I went to Janine and Glance, can I do steroids? And they're like, yeah. So that was when they said, eat a bowl of ice cream. I didn't even eat ice cream, but I ate a bowl of ice cream every night. I never puffed up like I did it about 4.5 months. Never puffed up like you do on steroids, you know, like little Miss Piggy. And I never got sick. I just sailed right through it. It really didn't bring down the marker a whole lot, a little bit. Well, my doctor was going nuts because I wouldn't do chemo. And every time I'd go in, my blood pressure would be like 170 because she would just be crazy. You've got to do this. I don't have to do anything. Yes, you do. If you want to live, you've got to do this and you've got to do that. I'm like, okay. And so I'd leave, my blood pressure would be sky high. My ears were all red. My face was all red. And I was like, God, just get me away from this crazy woman. And so I finally went to Janine. It was almost a year into it. I said, Janine, she's driving me nuts about doing chemo. She's like, well, then let's do chemo. I don't want to do chemo. No, you're good. You tell her you'll do, remember they've been RN, so they knew all these worlds. You'll do this much at this dose for this long. If she's good with that, we'll get her done. I'm like, okay. So they put the portacath in, attached a little fanny pack on me, 72 hours every month for 4 months. Now here's where I learned my first lesson of the power of our mind. The second she stuck that thing in the portacath and put that thing on my side, clipped it on my pants, I went, you are not going to hurt my good cells, you are not going to hurt my good cells, you are not going to hurt my good cells, you are not going to hurt my good cells. And as a result, I just excreted it.
Wow.
And every month I'd go in, she'd go, the number hasn't changed one. What's wrong? I don't know. I just don't want it in my body. This went on for 4 months. And I would lay awake those 72 hours going, you are not going to hurt my good cells. You are not going to hurt my good cells. You are not. Well, what I found out at the end of 4 months when they took this thing out and no number had changed, one number, and the doctor was flipping out, of course, about that. She didn't like that at all, but I was like, I still want it in my body. What I realized is I didn't complete that manifestation and visualization. I should have said, you are not going to hurt my good cells, but you will kill all the bad cells. I left that part out. So right then I learned, wow, you've got to complete this, you know. You can't just do halfway, you've got to do the whole thing. So that was a big lesson learned. So now when I do manifestations, I make sure it's real complete. And that's why I say, be very careful what you ask for, because you'll get it. So from there, I ended up moving to New Orleans, met a doctor there, an oncologist there. I was only there 4.5, 5 months. But I met an oncologist there that put me on thalidomide. And if there are any people in here in the medical field, I'm sure you know, thalidomide was the drug they gave women, I think it was in the 50s, for morning sickness. But it caused all the flipper babies and the deaths and the deformities because it affects the protein in your bone marrow, in your blood. And they had found that for certain cancers, it worked good. So she got me on that. And she showed me, she said, now Sue, this is kind of still experimental, so we don't really know how it's going to work. But there's like I don't remember the breakdown now, but it was like a 70-80% chance it doesn't do anything. There's like another chance that it might change a little bit. And all I remembered was the one I knew I was going to be in. 5% chance that it'll bring down your blood markers. I'm like, that's where I'm going to be. She goes, that's what I think too. And it did. It didn't get me all the way to normal range. I started taking a lot of different supplements, and I went into normal range. So fast forward now, 6.5 years that I've been in normal range. I go in for my checkup. I was only going in about 6 or 8 months to get my blood checked. And Dr. Stone, who was like my younger son's age, and which I had almost fired him because every time I'd go in, he'd go, you're doing so good. Keep doing whatever you're doing, and let's hope it doesn't come back. I said, whoa, cancel, cancel, cancel. It's not coming back. And so he would say that, and finally one day I said, okay, now look, I love you, you're like my son. But if you have to say that one more time, you're not my doctor anymore. Well, what do you want me to say? I want you to say, Sue, that is awesome, it's gone. Well, I can't say it's gone. Well, then just say, Sue, you're doing awesome. But don't add that little tagline, let's hope it doesn't come back. What the mind can conceive, the body will achieve. So, July the 9th, 2008, I go in. I'm sitting in the chair against the wall, and he's in his little roller chair, and he goes from me, he rolls back to the computer, he rolls back to me, and he does this like 6 times, and I'm like, what's he going to tell me? This is not good. I don't like the way he's doing this. And he turns around, and he smiles, and he says, Sue Thompson, I cannot believe that I'm about to say this to you. I said, what are you going to say to me? I had no idea. He said, it's gone, you're clean, you're cured. He said, honey, you are a walking poster of medical miracle. I said, that is good. I said, Dr. Stone, I've been telling you that for 6 years. He goes, but I couldn't say it. I said, well, and he said, you know what, good on you. He said, you are a medical miracle. Now, am I any different than anybody else in this room? No. I just learned a lot of lessons along my journey. A lot of lessons along my journey. And one is, always, you've got to have faith. Because I truly believe, and I heard this somewhere, and I don't remember where, but it was so powerful that if we're wavering or we're in a challenge in our life, that God will take you to the top of the mountain, and He'll force you to jump. And if your faith is strong enough, one of 2 things is going to happen. He's going to catch you in His hands. He's going to give you wings to fly. So remember that, because there is nothing in this lifetime that we cannot get through. Now, losing a loved one, losing a child, that's a tough road to hoe. So when I got cancer, that was like, yeah, I can do this, because in 1990, I had lost my cousin who was closer to me than a sister. I was so close. We were inseparable, and she got murdered. It took me 2 years to get over that, and probably a lot of that anger, the not forgiving, the guilt, not the guilt, but the, what's the word I want? Just the sadness and the loss was horrific. And that's probably what contributed quite a bit to the cancer that came into my body. Because when we don't forgive and we hold on to all that little monkey chatter and those tapes, that's what causes the dis-ease. D-I-S-E-A-S-E, the dis-ease. So what I learned is what we must do in our life's journey is to create positive thoughts and positive pictures of wholeness, wellness, abundance, perfection, Because I promise you, what you and God have in mind for your future will far surpass what your past has done. We cannot live in our past. When we do, that's when all the negative energy. So, did I live in fear? Of course I did, because every day we wake up, we have an option. We have a choice. Do I want to live in fear, or do I want to live in excitement? Well, fear sucks your energy, where excitement and anticipation fills your energy, right? So here's what the fiery, feisty, positive redhead came up with. Fear, F-E-A-R. Feel excited and ready. Isn't that cool? Okay. Now here's what we're going to do for fun. I want you guys to say with me. Fear. Fear. Feel excited and ready. Do it again stronger, with passion. My motto is live your life with passion. There's my motto right there. So let's do it with passion. Ready? Fear. Feel excited and ready for anything. I don't care what it is, good, bad, the ugly. Bring it on. Right? We can handle it. Because what the mind can conceive, the body will achieve. So I want you to say one more thing with me with passion is, my mind is the strongest. No, let's don't say strongest. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Oh, that's another thing. I'll share cancel, cancel, cancel with you. My mind is the most powerful gift I have. Y'all can say that with me? With passion. My mind is the most powerful gift I have. Amen. Now, I just added that. Ad-lib there, little bunny trail. But I did forget one point when I was going through about the positive thinking. Because the thoughts that live in our mind and the words that come out of our mouth create our reality. When I was a realtor, I had to buy my own health insurance for years. And I was spending $200, $250 a month for health insurance. People used to go, why are you doing that? What? You're healthy. You're never sick. Why are you spending so much money on health insurance? You know what my answer was? In case the big one comes. I was manifesting that all along, not knowing. So my journey in this path has been that when somebody says something negative or I say something negative, like somebody go, wow, see, my back's killing me. Cancel, cancel, cancel. No, it's not killing you. It may hurt like the devil, but it's not killing you. So we have to really watch our words. And so every time I would think something or say something, cancel, cancel, cancel. Well, because I'm from East Texas, my 13-year-old granddaughter she's picked up a lot of my stuff. I have motivational, inspirational, aspirational. They're all over my house. And she sends me stuff, she sends me cool stuff. And she'll say something, she'll go, cancel, cancel, cancel. I'm like, Brian, Michelle, that is not how I say it. She goes, yes, it is. So it's like, okay, whatever. But at any rate, you've all heard this. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. So I ask you again, do you believe in miracles?
Yes.
You bet. And if you don't, you need to start. Because every ordinary day contains a million infinite miracles. We have to just do what my sister said. Just listen. Don't be chatty catty and hyper and woo, because you miss so much. So I know y'all probably don't believe it, but I have slowed down in my life. Don't laugh. People that know me go, no, I don't think so. But I truly have, or maybe I've just changed, because once your life is challenged, or you think it's going to be near, you see things different. You feel things different. You hear birds that you never heard before. You see a butterfly, and it's like, oh, that is so pretty. I mean, we notice things that life is so fast and it's so furious. that we stop, we miss that. When I was a junior in high school, and I guess I got all this inspirational stuff from my mom and dad, but when I was a junior in high school, I was always a tomboy. I never owned a doll. I didn't have time for all that. So the first time they handed me my first baby, I was like, what do I do with this baby? Take this baby. But when I was a junior in high school, for my birthday of all things, I opened, and I've always been one that I just love presents. I don't really ever care what's in them. I just like to open them because I'm just like a kid. And when I go somewhere to a networking event and they have prizes, I just want to win. I don't care what the prize is. I just draw my name, draw my number. But when I open this present, I'm so excited, and it's a candle. What in the world at a junior in high school wants a candle? Now they're all over my house, but this was not then. Then I picked this candle up, and how many in here remember Holly Hoppy? The little girl with the hat down, you never saw her face. Well, here's Holly Hoppy with her little hat, bending over, going to pick a flower. I'm like, what? My mom's lost it. Because why do I get a candle with a silly Holly Hoppy on there? Then I read it, and it said, stop and smell the roses. I thought, that's the dumbest present I've ever got. But I couldn't say that to my mother. But she saw it, and so she comes over and she said, sister, one day, that's going to make sense to you. Yes, it did. And I would give anything if I could have that candle back. But that was a long time ago. There's no telling where that candle's disintegrated to. But at any rate, I don't know how long I've been on here, but okay, I want to end with a poem. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard this poem before. It's The Dash by Linda Ellis. Are y'all familiar with that? Okay. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on his tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of her birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left. You could be at dash mid-range. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real and always try to understand the way other people feel and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more and love the people in our lives that we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this little special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy's being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash? So my sister is my sister, remember the real calm, cool, collected. She is a fabulous trainer and speaker. She sent me this. It's a tombstone for those in the back. It says a tombstone that was 1907 to 2007, and it says, I have nothing further to say. Isn't that awesome? I'm done. I have nothing further to say. So I invite you, live your life with passion. Celebrate every single moment that you're given the gift of life. Laugh. Celebrate. Go be a child again. Love balloons. But most of all, live the life you deserve. Because it's the only one we're going to get. This ain't no dress rehearsal. This is it. Live it, love it, and live the one that you truly deserve. And know that every single ordinary day does contain a million infinite miracles. Thank you. I used to do that stuff. I told Dennis to stand there and help me in case I fall. I forgot I could do this. Any questions that anybody has? I'm so sorry, I forgot that part. Does anybody have any questions, any comments? Yes,
What
ma'am.
happened in your arm? Because you say that your bone was disintegrated.
It was totally disintegrated, and I have a full bone now.
No.
Now,
All by themselves?
all by itself. Our body, our cells, and our bones regenerate. We just have to nourish them. I'm telling you, it's all about good supplements, nourishment. I set up customer accounts for a green manufacturing company that we have consumable products that don't have the carcinogens and phosphates and formaldehydes in them. And I just do everything I can to live healthy and think positive. But it is now. This is it though. Before I couldn't use it at all. I can't raise it any further than that. I don't know if it's just no muscles there, it's atrophied, or it's just not connected. But that's it. But you know, that's a small price to pay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, yes, sir.
A question, do you think you were given this extra time to do something special or something unusual?
Yeah, what I'm doing today. You're going to make me cry. And trust me when I tell you I have fought this tooth and nail. Because that monkey chatter there I talked about in the tapes, who wants to hear my story? How can I? And all of a sudden I went, wait a minute, this isn't about me. God gave me a second chance to inspire and encourage others to take ownership of your life. It's just that simple. And so I'm just beginning to really get that. I'm a little hard-headed and stubborn sometimes. But thank you for asking that, because yes, I truly believe. Have y'all seen the movie Pay It Forward?
Yes. So good.
And I did talks for a long time for small groups and just kind of simple stuff that I could do that didn't really, you know. And now it's time. What else? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to mention that I'm a cancer survivor.
No, that cancel.
No, well,
You are a cancer victor.
Victor. Oh, cancer victor.
Yes, ma'am. I like victor better than survivor. Of course, survivor show's pretty cool. So, but anyway, yes, go ahead.
Okay, and I agree with you. Like when I was given my diagnosis, the doctor that she talked to me, she looked right into my eyes and she told me, you know what? You are going to do this. Be positive. You've got health insurance. You've got friends. You've got family. So we're going to work this together. And I mean, I believed her. I really believed her when she said that. And I am really blessed because my older sister, she passed away from breast cancer. And I don't think she had I guess it's your blessing. You have like all the doctors and everything just put in place to where you believe, or
I don't believe that. What I believe is you can beat anything if you have God and your determination and attitude. It's not about the doctors, it's about you and wanting to live. Like Dr. Wayne Dyer said, you know in a second if you're going to live or die. And it's that gut fortitude that you have that goes, like me, it's like, no, I'm going to be a grandmother. So we all have our whys. Everybody knows what your why is. But when you find your why, it's like peeling an onion. Until you cry when you talk about your why, like this gentleman just had me do, it's not a why. Your why's in your gut.
Yeah, that I know. Because
Right there, which I believe to be God. And so it's not about what the doctor did for you, it's what you decided to do. That's my opinion. Anybody else? Yes,
What's
ma'am.
your astrology sign?
Cancer. July 17th. I'm on the cusp of Leo, but yeah, it's Cancer, isn't that funny?
Yes.
And before I was like, oh, I'm a Cancer, and now I go, oh, I just hate that. So I just got my birthday's July 17th.
Definitely represent more of the
Why did you
Leo.
ask that?
Oh, I just love astrology, and I was
Oh.
just wondering, what gives you all of those different elements that you're portraying, your enthusiasm, the way that you communicate, the experiences, how you've dealt with it. And well, of course, the Cancer sign has to do with so much sensitivity and serving the public. And the Leo, well, that's the color of your hair and the enthusiasm that
Oh, well, thank
allows you
you.
to shine and
Oh,
be a
thank
great
you.
director.
Thank you. More. Okay, yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Because, like, for example, there is cancer prevention. Not that we're looking to have cancer, but to be healthy. So how does it, I mean, we don't want to work towards preventing something that we don't want to happen because you're manifesting that it might happen.
But you don't ever think it's going to happen. It's all about your thoughts, your affirmations. You know, it's about I am. You never do an affirmation of I'm going to. It's I am. You're living it.
No.
I am. And so the most important thing is get your house cancer-free of all the toxics and stuff that's in the grocery stores. And I can share that with anybody that wants to know. But eat right. You know, the 5 things that, the first thing they told me was no red meat, no refined sugar, no dairy, no unbleached white, like white rice, white spaghetti, pasta, or any of that, and no caffeine. I know, I heard somebody go, oh no. Well, it beats the alternative. But yeah, I mean, there's so much we can do to prevent before it ever has to happen. Because right now, because of all the toxins in our environment, we're killing ourselves, literally. It's very scary, but we have to be very, very self-conscious about what we do every day, what we think, what we say, who we hang out. Remember they always say, you are who you hang out with and the food you eat? The one thing, I had a best friend, well, I better not put this on video. You just get rid of the negativity in your life. I can't put that on video in case somebody sees that. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm really enjoying your talk.
Thank you.
And one thing that comes through my head every time I hear this about the manifestations, one of the scriptures I live by is I walk by faith on my side, and I'm not moved by what I feel, think, or see around me. I just concentrate on where I want to be.
Not where you want to be, where you are.
Where I am. It's where I
You
am.
make it, you are.
Yes,
right
exactly.
now. Because you're in a wheelchair, right?
Yes.
Well, by golly, you start doing that, where's Dick? He needs to come up here with me.
Any special herbs or vegetables that you would recommend?
What they got me on was almonds, dried apricots, and broccoli. Now that was before kale got really big.
Yeah.
Kale is like the cat's meow right now. Kale is good. And there's so many things you can do with these things. Another thing I wouldn't do is juice. We were laughing about that this morning. I'd look at that and be, I'm not drinking that. Are you out of your mind? That's just gross. Well, now I juice because it really tastes good. It tastes better than it looks. But it's just, you know, the most important thing is to stay away from refined sugar and McDonald's and all the fast food places and the processed foods. Oh, they're killers. They're killers. Yes, okay, you're coming. I'll go to you.
So one thing you should say, instead of saying that you are a medical miracle, you should say that you are a miracle of your own mind. Because
Well, but
you
that was
are.
what Dr. Stone, so I just always quote him, but okay, I like that.
You are a miracle of your own mind, and that is good to let it know other people.
That I'm a medical miracle in my own mind. Oh, thank you, that's beautiful. I will use that. I like that. I like that. Anybody else? Okay, back to you. This gentleman, okay, I went to church Sunday, right? I told you guys that. And I was kind of like, And the first thing out of her mouth is Dave's story. Well, it just really resonated with me and stuck with me like, wow. And I was thinking that it was because he said, I will walk out of this hospital. Wiggle your toes, Dave. And I thought, that was what I did. Don't tell me it's incurable. Watch me. You know, I'm a little competitive, and I guess Dave is too. So I'm like, I'm going to put that in my talk today. And I thought, well, do I do that? Do I not do that? Yes? Okay. Last night, I meet these women. Well, I had met Alka anyway, that's another whole story. But we were talking. We all went to dinner, and we're talking. And Malka tells me about her son, Vic. Wow. That was why I was supposed to tell that story. So we had lunch today, and this guy is unbelievable. And I can promise you, you will see him standing up here. There is you want to add? Because I'd love for you to just add something.
I guess I've been through like a long ordeal, like believing and trying to understand, you know, how to really choose your thoughts. It's been an 8-year journey, and I mean, she's really big confirmation for me for really like wanting to do this. Recently, I spoke to my mom and told her like,
Not wanting to do it, you're going to do it.
that I'm gonna do it. I guess there's a lot of things that kind of play against you in the sense that, you know, this majority of people that have to deal with my situation live this throughout, and believing it is like the hardest thing to do. And because of infinite love, because of, you know, everything I've been able to experience, I believe it and I will do it.
Yes, you do. He and I are going to be on stage together one day too, so just watch for it. Anybody else have any questions before we just ball ourselves out here? Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Okay, one moment. Yes, ma'am.
Like, you have that belief that you know that you can do better and you are going to improve, but then you have the black thing coming here.
No, he went away. He left that day. He didn't come back.
I know, but for me, for example, for anybody else, how you can keep that negative thing away from you every day?
The easiest thing is to say cancel, cancel, cancel. It's amazing what those 3 little words will do. It like dissipates. And if it's something really big and major, I go cancel, 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 clear. Totally. But it's amazing the power of your mind. Remember, what the mind can conceive, the body will achieve. And I wrote, and what I suggested to Vic was write down your affirmations. Write what you want to happen. Just paste them everywhere you look. Your kitchen cabinet, your bathroom mirror, your dashboard of your car. Anywhere you are, put that affirmation down there. And it is amazing what the mind can do. One moment, so this gentleman right here had something. I know we're probably running over, aren't we? It's okay.
About 3 years ago, my doctor told me that I had 8 months to live, and I had to get my act together.
How long ago was that?
3 years ago.
Funny how that works.
Life, encouragement, faith, and nourishment has brought me here.
Yay! And you know what? You'll have many, 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 many more years to live, too. I love it. I think it was you.
Yeah, I have only one quick question. How do you start your day in order to keep that positivism all day long without losing it? Sometimes I found...
I don't know.
Yeah, I found even myself, my wife, and everybody else that we start like really pumped up. But by the end of the day, we are like, no more.
Well, you're hanging out with the wrong people. No. I think I came out of the womb and I will go down. My sister, we lived together for a year, and she'd close the door in the morning. She goes, my Lord, you go to bed talking and you wake up. But it's a mindset, again, back to the mind. Because
cancel.
Cancel when the negatives come. And really think about who your friends are and who you hang out with.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, we don't always think about that because they're our friends. It might even be a relative, and if it's a spouse, get rid of it. It's so important who we interject our energies with. Because positive energies really lift you up.
Okay, so right now
But the
it's not going to be...
negative sucks you out.
So right now it's not going to be canceled, it's going to be deleted about everybody else.
Don't tell them I said that. Don't tell them where I live, right? Anybody else? I think we're over, but I would love for you guys to buy my book. My book is, it's one of these, I mean, you can read it obviously cover to cover, but I believe God and I wrote it to be one of those books you put by your bed, your chair, or your potty, and you just open it and go, wow, that was my message for the day. That was my message for the day. So God bless you. Thank you for having me. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun. Yes, ma'am.
Are you selling Barnes & Noble selling your book?
Barnes & Noble won't sell it until enough go in and order it because they have their, all about the money, honey, you know. But you can get it on barnesandnoble.com. However, that is not, I don't think mine is kind of that book that you do online because you really need to hold it and read it. And I have autographed them. However, wherever they're taking me next, I would love to personalize it and put your name on it. Or if you want to get it for a gift, I'll personalize that. So thank you so much. Oh my gosh, and she gets
I promised you it'd be a treat. All right, so listen, Sue traveled down here from San Antonio and obviously didn't charge anything for the event. So we do ask you if you'd like to purchase the book. And in addition, we have love donations up front. So we're going to let her take a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break for about 10 minutes, and then she'll be available in the room just back here that you see open, and we'll sign and do a meet and greet. So there are treats available
over
in the
here.
room right here, and we'll reconvene in about 10 minutes.
How much is the book? $15. That includes tax. That includes tax.
All right, thank you, everyone.
I just wanted to share something. I met this wonderful lady. When was it? I think it was last year.
That was July.
July, and I was at a hotel in San Antonio. I was taking my real estate course, and it just so happened that I was sitting in the lobby of this hotel, and Sue walked in. She had it was
my book launch.
Book launch for her book, and I was just sitting there and listening to her about her book H.O.P.E, about what she went through her cancer, and I said, oh my God, I gotta meet
cancer,
no.
Cancer.
But I said, you know what, we need to hear her story here in McAllen, and I told her about what we do and invited her to come down, and she's here.
And I had no idea really, because that night I was floating on cloud 9, but to meet these incredible women, and then let's take it a step further, Gail King, in February, because I'd only talked to these ladies on the phone, Gail King and I both are in San Antonio doing a continuing ed for our real estate license. And first time we're doing our introductions, and they had those long tables that had the aisle, so I couldn't really see her because there were people sitting between us. And so when she introduced herself, she said, hi, I'm Gail King from McAllen. I went, I gotta go talk to her and tell her I'm coming to McAllen. And so at break I go, I said, hi Gail, I'm Sue Thompson. And she just smiles. And I said, I'm coming to McAllen. And this is my first time here, so it was a big deal for me to come. And she said, I'm coming to McAllen March 30th. She says, really, with what group? I said, I don't know. I said, all I remember is it's Alka. And she said, she leans up, she goes, I know all about you. And I went, how do you know all about me? And then she told me they were all best friends. And so it's just been such a God thing. Such a God thing. So thank you all so much.
Please stay connected with us. Loveisinfinite.org for more information, volunteer opportunities, upcoming events, and thank you. And 10 minutes, we'll be doing the book signing right back here. Have a good evening.